Karate Kid Legends was awesome. Hello, welcome back to Reamlore, and today we're looking at the newest installment in the Karate Kid franchise. I love all the Karate Kid stuff, the movies and the TV show. Karate Kid Legends is the 6th film in the franchise, bringing in Daniel, played by Ralph Macchio, and Mr. Han, played by Jackie Chan, to mentor new Karate Kid Lee Fong, played by Ben Wong, in his film debut. You all know who Daniel is, he's the first Karate Kid, and Mr. Han was in the Karate Kid remake as the sensei to Dre Parker, played by Jaden Smith. The story for this film starts with the scene from the second film, where Mr. Miyagi explained his ancestor washed ashore China and met the Han family. They combined their martial arts knowledge and created Miyagi-Do. Starting off this film, we see Mr. Han has created a school teaching Kung Fu, and his best student is Lee, his nephew. However, Lee's mom takes him away from the country and makes him promise to give up martial arts after his brother was killed by a bitter martial artist with a knife who lost to him. But instead of taking her son somewhere safe, like to a countryside in the US, she decides instead to take him to New York City. What? That place is filled to the brim with people who want to fight. Lee is bummed about all of this but finds new friends and a girlfriend named Mia, while also running into Mia's ex-boyfriend and martial arts master Connor Day. Things get serious real quick as Mia's dad Victor gets in trouble with O'Shea, the evil sensei of the dojo Connor trains at. They need money fast, especially after Victor lands in the hospital after losing a fight. The only way to get a lot of money fast is for Lee to win the 5 Boroughs Martial Arts Tournament, which we unfortunately speed through in 2 minutes. Why build up the tournament so much throughout the movie if it's just going to be wrapped up in 2 minutes aside from the finale? Mr. Han arrives to help and brings Daniel from Los Angeles to assist. They teach everything they know to prepare Lee for the tournament. Lee makes it to the finals where he has to fight Connor, who had won the previous 5 tournaments. It's a nail-biting match, but in the end Lee wins. Connor bows to him, Victor's pizza shop is saved, and of course Lee is standing on top of the world. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to like and subscribe. We upload videos just like this one on our Reamlore channel. We upload a great new video every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 3 p.m. so make sure you're subscribed with that bell pressed to get notified when we upload. Also, subscribing is completely free and it doesn't cost you anything. By the way, I just want to thank everyone for the massive support on our Power Rangers video. I did a video on Mighty Morphing Power Rangers Reignition and it got almost 2,000 views. Thank you all so much for watching that video. Please subscribe if you enjoy videos like this. Back to Karate Kid Legends. Now that the premise and story are out of the way, how was the film? I thought it was very good. In fact, you could argue this is the best film in the franchise depending on what you're looking for. What I really like about this movie is it's not about Daniel or Mr. Han. It's completely about Lee. We spend a good chunk of time establishing Lee, his charming personality, his love for martial arts, and his deep-seated fears. His story is relatable and super easy to get into. You feel for him when he lost his brother, or when he hit a bump in his relationship, or when he got beat up. And it made me so happy to see him overcome all of that. It's the same inspiring feeling I got watching Daniel hit that crane kick. I got so invested in Lee's story that when Mr. Han and Daniel showed up, I thought, man, I forgot this was a Karate Kid film. That's how invested I was and how good this movie is. I completely forgot, oh yeah, we're supposed to be doing legacy stuff, because I was so into the current characters we were watching. Ben Wong is also great in this role. Not only getting the martial arts aspect, but also the relatable struggle a teenager would have at this stage. In my opinion, making this movie focus on Lee and his story will make it step out of the shadow of the original Karate Kid. The side characters are also amazing. You could even argue Karate Kid Legends has the best supporting cast of any Karate Kid film. Shockingly, despite Mr. Han and Daniel being in all of the advertising and the poster, they don't do that much character-wise. More so, they are here to help Lee in his journey. And as I've made it clear, keeping the story firmly around Lee was the right call. And as supporting senseis, they were awesome. Some of my favorite scenes in the film are them debating which moves would be better to use in a fight. The new characters, meanwhile, are excellent. They feel defined, deep, and very real. First, we have Lee's mom, Dr. Fong, played by Ming-Na Wen. She's great because she doesn't hate Kung Fu, she just wants to keep Lee away from fighting because of what happened to his brother. But she soon realizes Kung Fu is a lifestyle and something Lee just can't give up. But everything she does is because she loves her kids. We then have Mia, Lee's girlfriend. I really like Mia and the story we told with her. She was with Connor but admits they're no good together with him being crazy and decides to move on and try new things in her life, being super charming, caring, and likable along the way. Mia's dad Victor is also a lot of fun. Being a sort of father figure to Lee with his own cool backstory, you could make a movie all on its own. Victor was a pro underground fighter who was the best in his prime, but gave it up when Mia was born, opening a pizza shop to make sure she had a steady income. However, he loaned money to some bad people, and the only way to pay them off is to get back into underground fighting, which Lee helps him with. Lee also makes a best friend in the form of Alan, who acts as comic relief. He was brought on to be Lee's tutor, but they quickly became best friends. I really like Alan. He has a bunch of funny moments, and he is the best wingman ever. When Lee and Mia have problems, he helps set up the perfect forgive and forget date and even plays the Backstreet Boys' I Want It That Way on guitar. Alan is the best. The main villain is also awesome in the form of Connor Day. He is the perfect modern interpretation of Johnny Lawrence, a strong karate psycho, a bully with too much rage and strength. And his hatred for Lee is understandable. Just like Johnny, Connor is in love with Mia and Lee is getting in the way of that. Connor even gets Johnny's humanity down because just like the original, he's not a bad kid per se, but his sensei encourages his bad behavior. And there are moments of him being hesitant and showing compassion. And at the end, after he loses the match to Lee, he bows to him and acknowledges him as a worthy fighter. The only weak part of the cast and the weak part of the movie is O'Shea, the evil sensei. We spend almost no time with this guy. We know he's evil and a loan shark, but that's it. For other evil senseis, we saw a lot of their personalities, but here O'Shea does pretty much nothing. And shockingly, he's barely in the finale. He doesn't even talk to Connor at all. What we needed here was more scenes of O'Shea talking to Lee or Mr. Han or Daniel to build his character. Or in the finale, have O'Shea encourage Connor to take a cheap shot just like the original. This is a big issue because in the Karate Kid franchise, there have been so many great evil senseis. And when you put O'Shea next to John Kreese, Terry Silver, Colonel Duggan, Master Lee, Sensei Wolf, O'Shea does not compare. This movie also looks spectacular. I was surprised at how many scenes were filmed on location in New York, which always looks cool. Speaking of looking cool, we actually have some cool video game edits in this. And surprisingly, here and there, they really work. Very Scott Pilgrim-esque. We also get a great cameo from William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence. He's just cracking jokes as always, but this is the first time we've seen Johnny in the movie franchise since the original, so it's very cool. The fight scenes are also amazing. Some of the best fight scenes I've seen in a film. The Karate Kid franchise just keeps upping their quality with their fights. The final fight being held on top of a rooftop as well is such a cool ending set piece. If you didn't know, this film was directed by Jonathan Entwistle, who was going to direct the Power Rangers Netflix series before it was canned. And seeing what he did here makes me even more upset we're not getting his vision of Power Rangers. If he had given this kind of care to the characters, acting, storytelling, cinematography, and respect to the legacy of the franchise, we could have had the best Power Rangers season ever. Fingers crossed that he gets to do something with Power Rangers in the future. What made this movie a success in my opinion is 1, it's a great film even if you take away the Karate Kid name, but 2, it honors the traditions of the original films. Iconic relatable characters, awesome martial arts, and a very inspiring story. If you haven't seen Karate Kid Legends yet, I highly recommend it. Hopefully people give this a chance and watch it, because right now competition in the theater is pretty stiff. Mission Impossible, Final Destination 6, Lilo and Stitch, and Ballerina, a John Wick spinoff. But even with all of those, I still hope Karate Kid does very well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.